Hello and welcome to the Weeball Podcast. I'm Luke Krumich. Joining me as always is Tyler DeSena, and we have another mock draft Monday for you all. So we're going to get right into it. This is what we would do, not a predictive mock. So it's going to look a little different. It's going to feel a little different. But Tyler, how we doing, buddy? You ready to get into this?
I thought we were about to go back-to-back episodes without, introducing me, saying anything in regards to how I'm doing. I mean, I see how it is, but no, I'm doing well. This mock is, like Luke said, what we would do, which I think makes it really interesting and should be exciting.
I'm raring to go. We're going to switch it up this time. Last time, I did the odds. This time, you're doing the odds.
Yes, which means if you are an odd-numbered team, you're winning the Super Bowl. But let's start out. Number one overall pick. I took my QB1. We've heard all this about CJ Stroud, about Bryce Young. But I took the guy who has the highest ceiling in this class, somebody who I think is mentally much farther ahead than he gets credit for. Like I said, he's my QB1, so I had to take him here. I went Anthony Richardson.
It is a pick. It's a pick.
It's a selection in the draft.
It is a draft pick that happens in this mock draft. I wouldn't do it, but you would, and therefore that's the pick because that's what we're doing here. I'm on the clock at number 2, and what I would do, regardless of pick, is take Bryce Young. Welcome to the Texans, pal.
The fit's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's so perfect.
It's great. Yeah, I guess I am.
That's all I have to say. It's QB1.
It's perfect. It's a perfect fit. There's no better fit in this draft than Bryce and the Texans in my book. Moving on to number 3, the Cardinals. We debated trading down, but there just weren't many teams that we felt comfortable moving up to 3. So I took the best defender available here. It's Will Anderson out of Alabama. Don't overthink this. Run to the podium. Take the best player on the board.
He's player 1 in my eyes. Like, he's the best player in this draft. People overthink him because he was really good last year and didn't make noise this year because Alabama didn't compete for a national championship. It happens, we do it to players and it's dumb and we shouldn't. But moving on to the number 4 overall pick. Indy.
Not how you'd want the board to fall for Indy. I mean, some people are going to like this, but when you have an offensive coordinator who's known for working with these high ceiling guys, your number 4 pick, listen.
Yeah. Listen. If the board felt like this in real life, I would just draft a defensive talent and then give Lamar all the money in the world and have him find that 100%. And give the 2 picks and just move on with your life. Even trade back and get more stuff so you can all that type of thing. Yeah, it's whatever. This wouldn't happen in real life, but I am taking CJ Stroud. It just feels like it has to happen in this situation.
He wouldn't fall out of the top 4, and I mean he is obviously still a very good quarterback prospect. I'm not saying he's bad. It's just this is the kind of pick. Indy was the kind of team that you want to see them go draft a guy who has more rushing upside, but we didn't feel comfortable, or at least you didn't feel comfortable taking Will Levis in this spot.
Everybody knows that doing prospect interviews, talking on a podcast 2-3 times a week, it comes with a necessary confidence that you have to have. And one thing that really improves confidence is the new and improved Performance Package 4.0 by MANSCAPED. It has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of these goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming and, dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. I am blown away by the performance and craftsmanship of this trimmer. Their 4th generation trimmer offers cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Their Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight so you can get a more precise shave. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. If you thought that was good, but want to take your grooming even further to the next level, the Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker ears and nose hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs. in those delicate nose holes. The Crop Preserver below the waist deodorant and Crop Reviver below the waist toner will change the way you approach your daily hygiene routine. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in this Performance Package 4.0, the Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off with code WEBALL. That is WEBALL, WEBALL. Make sure to use it on your next purchase with Manscaped for 20% off.
Number 5, we've heard the arguments about him being drafted over Will Anderson. I obviously don't believe that, but I still think probably edge 2, and I'm taking Tyree Wilson at Texas Tech for Seattle.
Okay. I think it's very you know, he's a freakish
I like
athlete.
my high ceiling players. As you've seen,
Yeah.
my 3 picks have been freakish athletes. So, you know, we got to keep this trend moving.
So we're coming up on number 6. This is what I would do. I would take Christian Gonzalez. I know they did a lot of work at corner in the offseason to give themselves a little bit more freedom, and they have that later pick, so they could go for like a Cam Smith type or, you know, whoever's there type thing. But I would go with Christian Gonzalez. He's the best player on the board.
Pairing Gonzalez and Okuda would be disgusting.
He's just the best player at a position of need. Like it just so happens that it works out that way.
You can never have enough corner depth, and they can't sign some guys who have had injury issues in the past. And they have Okuda, who's obviously had his injury issues. I don't think there's any real debate here. I think Christian Gonzalez, like you said, best player on the board. I think he really is a top 5 talent in this draft class. He's outstanding. Number 7.
I want to make a call here. I'm picking up my trade phone.
Okay.
I want to reach out to you.
So you want to reach out to the Raiders, but who's calling? Who's on the phone?
Currently for sale Washington Commanders.
Okay.
And I am calling you about making a trade here.
Okay.
I'm willing.
You're definitely open and moving down.
Willing to give you this year's first, next year's first, and either a third this year or a second rounder next year.
All right. Well, I'm putting you on hold for a second to debate this out. You either get the third this year and you help out Jimmy Garoppolo right now, or you set yourself up with 2 potentially top 50-ish picks, more than you already had, in a draft that could net you Caleb Williams, Drake May, or any of the other number of quarterbacks that we think could come out.
Or you could stay put and take.
Or I can stay put and take Will Levis.
Or Jalen Carter.
But as I've taken with my other 3 picks, I'm a sucker for freak athletes and insane potential. And who exemplifies that more than Caleb Williams? I'm taking this trade. Washington, the pick is yours.
Which one are you having? The second?
I'm taking the second next year. So it will be we will be receiving your first right now, your first next year, and your second next year for this pick.
That is what we are doing. I'm good with that. We're not going to ask Dan Snyder, but I don't want to go into his office. So we're going to move on. And, the team is over sale.
So who's up? Who's
we're going to take Will Levis.
Okay.
Will Levis. Our new owner is going to have Will Levis to work with.
I mean, we all know how this team might feel about Sam Howell, but going out and getting them some competition and going out and getting them a good, getting them a top 4 quarterback in this class, somebody we anticipate to go in the top 10. I like it. And now you're up again with Atlanta.
And here's where Jalen Carter finally gets off the board. We don't know what's going on with his situation, but he stays in Georgia. He goes to the Falcons. They love Georgia players. They just signed a DC who's, he's a defensive line guy. I think this is a match made in heaven, and it is the best chance, the earliest chance that Jalen Carter will have to get off the board, in my opinion. With what we know right now, obviously.
Yeah, they've got vets. They just signed a couple of guys. I think David Onyemata is coming to town. They got some other guys coming in, but they already have Grady Jarrett. But you can never have enough interior defensive line guys, and Jalen Carter isn't just an interior defensive line guy. he is one that if he can, stay out of trouble and stay healthy, will be a top 3 talent in this class probably. So I think it's a great pick. Moving on to number 9, this is the Chicago Bears, and they went out and they addressed wide receiver. They traded down. They don't have the number 1 overall pick anymore. They got themselves a DJ Moore. And with this pick, I figured let's go out and address another one of their needs here, and that would be an offensive tackle. I went out and I took Broderick Jones. I felt just going out and getting one of the best offensive tackles on the board. Their OT1 potentially, I think it's a perfect fit. It's definitely what I would do. Go get Justin Fields some help, make a true evaluation on him this year, and then next year you obviously have picks to work with if he doesn't work out.
I think he's the best pure tackle, and they signed a bunch of guards, so I think going pure tackle here makes sense. And I think Broderick Jones and really Darnell Wright are those 2 guys who are like, hey, these are tackles. And we're going to, I would lean Broderick Jones, I think. So I'm glad that's where you went because I agree that is a good move. And now number 10, this is where it gets interesting.
Luxury picks.
You lose CJ. You don't really have that many needs. You just got to kind of keep replenishing this current team you have. You got to make good draft selections before, the clock runs out on your other guys. You just, pick and replace type thing. Devon Witherspoon is a Philadelphia Eagle.
I think it's a great fit. I think going out and getting a Fangio guy, going out and getting a Fangio type corner, somebody who can play that zone system, which is what they were running, and they might lose either Bradbury or Darius Slay in the coming years. They obviously held on to both of them now. Going out and just doing what they did last year. Last year, they knew they could lose potentially Fletcher Cox. They ended up losing Javon Hargrave. What do? They draft Jordan Davis. They know they could lose TJ Edwards. What do? They draft Nakobe Dean. They do these things a year ahead of time. I went out and I took Devon Witherspoon, you took Devon Witherspoon. And I think that it's a great pick. I would have done the same thing. So moving on. Number 11, the Titans are in a weird spot. No more quarterbacks on the board. There will not be a trade up for a quarterback, but what there will be is going out and getting some help for whoever is going to play quarterback. So I took Peter.
I have no clue where you're going with that.
Going out, you got to get help. You don't know if it's Malik Willis, who we don't even know if their coaching staff really is in on Malik Willis. We don't know if it's Ryan Tannehill. We don't know if
we don't know anything about this
Josh Dobbs at this point. But we do know that whoever it is, they need some help.
Isn't Josh Dobbs on another team? Didn't he get signed somewhere else?
Did he? Let me check.
I'm almost positive.
Either way,
he's like a Steeler or something.
Wow, he's a Cleveland Brown now. It won't be Josh Dobbs.
There we go.
But I went out and I got them a new offensive tackle, Peter Skoronski.
What's with you and making errors with NFC or AFC North rosters? I mean, what's going on, pal? Go watch that series folks.
He was on the team last year, okay? I didn't know he signed with the Browns.
We're moving on. Nope, you can't recover from this. The Texans at pick 12. This is what I would do. I'm going. I'm helping out.
Get him.
My quarterback. That's my quarterback. On my TO thing. Jackson Smith and Jigba needs to be a
beautiful fit.
It just works so well. I don't remember the last time. Oh, I do remember the last time. John Mechie and Jameson Williams. Hey, remember what he did with those wide receivers who actually have hands? I'm just saying, get him someone who can catch the football. And that's what Jackson Smith and Jigba does. He gets open.
Who makes the plays in rack situations, and that's like the biggest thing for teams that run this Shanahan offense. You have to be able to catch the ball in space and make plays after the catch. And there are a few guys in this draft who move after the catch. Even though he's not a super fast guy, there are a few guys who can make moves on defenders like JSN. I think it's a great weird
spatial awareness. Like he's got such a high level brain, is what it feels
like. He's making the move before
the
the guy gets there. Yes. He's so smart.
He's smarter than
and he finds soft spots. He's the perfect IQ receiver, which is what you need in that kind of offense. Moving on to number 13, Aaron Rodgers might be coming to town. We're assuming this pick isn't involved.
Lamar could be coming in town.
I hope not as a Dolphins fan. However, we went out and we got whoever the quarterback is, a little help on the offensive line. We don't know what's happening with Mekhi Becton. Obviously, he's lost some weight. We've seen that he's, getting in better shape. They've got, I think, Dwayne Brown on the other side. Yeah, good for him. We heard all the doubts. We don't know what they feel about him either way. I went out and got another tackle. I got Paris Johnson. I think just going out and addressing the offensive line, teams need to continue. Dwayne Brown, I think, is their other offensive tackle, and he will not be there forever. That dude is pretty old. I want to check out his actual age, 37 years old. So he might have 2 years
I don't
left.
think my knees will work at 37. How are his knees still moving? My knees already hurt. I'm 19.
I'm assuming they won't be. That's why I'm taking Paris Johnson Jr. You're up at 14 with the New England Patriots.
Hey, let's get weird, guys. Let's get fun. Let's get weird. I'm going with Texas running back. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm going Quentin Johnston. I just makes sense.
You did take another Texas, TCU.
I did. He committed to Texas originally, actually, and then decommitted and went to TCU. Fun fact, go watch our interview with him. Great dude.
If you want more fun facts about Quentin Johnston, that's where to find him. We have an interview up on the page with him.
Go watch it. Hey, we'll link it or something. I don't know. Tyler handles the descriptions.
We'll get to it. All right. Up next. Moving on. Number 15. I figured this Packers team, who's up on the clock, got absolutely torched by just any passing game that they faced last year. And it was a large reason why they couldn't make the playoffs. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pair Jair Alexander with another corner who's just as feisty as he is. I'm taking Joey Porter. I think it would be a really fun duo. Joey Porter Jr., Jair. You've got, Darnell Savage in your secondary. I think it would be a very fun move.
Tyler, this is your pick.
It is. I forgot that I'm on the clock again.
However, I want to make a call. Listen,
okay.
I'm a team who really wants Brian Branch or a corner or something like that, and the Steelers are coming up on the clock here.
Okay.
I am going to be calling you with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. Interesting. What's the offer?
So we're moving up what? We're not moving up crazy amounts of spots.
You're moving up what? It's 24. It would be to 16. It's 8 picks.
So I'm using the draft value chart. That's about 250 value on the draft value chart that NFL teams use. I'm going to offer you a first,
this first,
a third, and a third next year.
I'm going to tell you right now, being the Las Vegas Raiders, as much as I like the offer, this is a team that just signed Jimmy Garoppolo, and we already traded down once. We have players on the roster we can't let down. We have Devontae Adams. Like I said, Jimmy Garoppolo. We've got Josh Jacobs. These are guys on offense who want to go win right now. And I feel like at some point we just have to make a pick. We can't just keep stockpiling for 2024 and telling ourselves that that's when we're going to be good. I'm going out and I'm making a pick. I'm going to have to turn it down. Now hear me out. I understand that I just said we're in a win now position.
Oh, Jesus.
But we've got guys who are getting older on the defensive line, namely Chandler Jones, who his production's slipping a little bit. That's not a bad thing to say.
He's still a good player.
But they've got Max Crosby on the other side, and I figured let's go out and get a guy that our defensive coordinator, like our defensive staff, Patrick Graham, those kind of guys would love. And you know what I'm going to go get? Okay. Nolan Smith out of Georgia. You are a Las Vegas Raider. I want to go just get a bunch of pass rush, be physical, and get one of the most athletic guys in the class. Going back to what Raiders football is, let's go punch people in the mouth on defense.
I genuinely think he could go as high as 8. Like he's a dog. Apparently he's killing interviews, like next level. Very good leader, showing great qualities, all that type of good stuff you want to hear coming out of interviews. So I like the pick. I think it's weird for the Raiders, but I think he could literally go as high as 8.
Yeah. Well, I'm up again, and I heard things about Brian Branch. Somebody who was in some GM's ear. They were talking about how Brian Branch is a player that they wanted to move up for, and it really sold me as the Steelers general manager after I heard this from the pipeline. I heard some good things about Brian Branch, And I think the idea of pairing him up with a Minkah Fitzpatrick and getting two guys who you could just move everywhere on top of your defensive line that already has guys like TJ Watt,
that'd be
like
the best run
Highsmith,
defense in the league,
who are just outstanding. I think that you can go absolutely nuts. I'm taking Brian Branch.
I think that's a really good pick. I just think, it would be a very good run defense. I don't think there's really anything anyone can do about that unless you're like, doing the Philly push every single play. But we're going to move right along. I won't talk anymore about how that's a wild part of football. 18, I'm going with Myles Murphy. I'm just doing it. I personally really like Myles Murphy. I like the fit. I know this isn't what they would do, but I feel like it's something Dan Campbell would do. I've heard good things about Myles Murphy as a guy.
I don't think Edge is off the table. I
think he's the pick here. It's just personal mostly, but I really like this pick.
I like it a lot. I don't think Edge is off the table. I think Myles Murphy should not be on the board at this point at all. So going out and getting a player that's above their draft value, I think that's great. Moving on, there's a little bit of a run on edges. The Bucs are up, and they need foundations of their franchise. They are a team that just lost, potentially the greatest player of all time. They need an influx of talent. I'm going out and getting somebody on the defensive side of the ball, another edge who probably shouldn't be here. I'm getting Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think he'll probably go a lot higher in real life. I don't know that either of us is very high on him. We haven't fully watched edges yet, so I don't want to put that distinction on him just yet. But he's a good player and he's a dog, so I don't hate the pick. Speaking of dogs, speaking of good players, this guy has had a very hard year. The Seahawks are on the clock. They love freak athletes. He's finally coming back to form. He showed it at the combine, all that type of stuff. I think Brian Brzee, I'm the biggest anti-Clemson guy, anti-Dabo guy, and I just took back-to-back Clemson players. I'm mad at myself, but these are two players that are really, really good at football. Brian Brzee, you are a Seahawk. That defensive line is incredible now. Could you imagine that? Tyree and Brian Brzee on that line?
Insane. And they draft guys year in and year out. They've got a whole rotation of guys now. I think it makes them a really fun team and a team that is ready to go kind of attack the division after, extending Geno. Maybe they wait another year before going and drafting a quarterback. Maybe they draft another one later in this draft. We never know. But moving on to the Chargers, we've heard rumblings about an Austin Eckler trade. And to be fair, I'm not the biggest Austin Eckler guy. And I want to go out
and get somebody. That's an understatement with what you were saying before this podcast. All right, that's an understatement.
Well, I want to go out and I want to go get a guy who I think
told him
is
to
an
stick
absolute.
To Twitch.
I did not say that. Not at all. Not one.
I came up with that on the fly. That was pretty good.
Well, I'm taking the only running back that's going to go here at this point, and I'm going out and I'm getting Bijan Robinson. He's somebody you can use in the pass game, somebody you can use in the run game. Of course, as a running back, he's going to absolutely run through people, run by people. He does so much. He's big and elusive. I think he fits a lot of what they need as a running back. I'm going out and I'm taking Bijan. I think you're just getting a top 5 to 10 talent in this draft at pick 21.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know where he goes. I think he could go literally anywhere in this entire draft. Like anywhere in this first round, I think Bijan could go. And
he just had to go in the first. Yeah,
yes,
he had to go in the first in
our
mock. And I felt like, why not go get him on a team that already has a freakazoid at quarterback? Let's go get one at running back. I think it's just perfect fit.
It really is just a perfect fit. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna keep it moving here. And I'm going at pick 22 with the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm saying, hey, Lamar, I know you just requested a trade, but what if, we signed Nelson Aguilar to make you happy? How about Nelson Aguilar and Jordan Addison? That really gets you you want to come back and win a Super Bowl now. It's the only option that I think makes sense here. I don't know what else you do.
You've got to go receiver. And Jordan Addison is the best one available. I think it's a good fit. I think going out and getting somebody who can attack downfield like Addison does, especially in that new offense that they're bringing to town, if Lamar comes back, it could be dangerous. Up next, 23rd pick. A lot of corners have absolutely flown off the board. It's been a position that we even talked about in our cornerback preview. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Please go check it out because we talked about a lot of these guys. And one of the guys that I talked about was Deonte Banks. And I'm taking him for Minnesota. Brian Flores is he's the new guy in town. He's a new defensive coordinator. So what is he like in his cornerbacks? He likes guys who can run. He likes that track speed. And Deonte Banks can run. He's an athletic freak. I figured go out and get somebody who has a high ceiling. I think that they, like I said, need another corner. I think it's a perfect fit. Deonte Banks going to Minnesota.
I don't hate the pick. I'm not the biggest Deonte Banks guy. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a top 5 corner. We talked about this. Go watch the episode. You'll understand why. I'm going to take a guy who I do think is a top 5 corner with this next pick. We tried to move up to get a corner earlier, or Brian Branch. It didn't work out. The Jacksonville Jaguars are taking Cam Smith. They get lucky. They don't have to give up any assets, and they still get a very good cornerback. This could be Forbes. I think that would be a fun fit too. I think Forbes also, I think both of these corners make sense for them. So I think Cam Smith just because I think they need the length and stuff like that. But, I think they just need a corner. To be honest with you, they need a corner.
Cam Smith's a good football player. Like I said, he can step in right now and contribute to a defense. He's a dog. I think that would be a good mentality to kind of bring to Jacksonville and a team that really needed more defensive help after making the playoffs. And, they're in a good spot and they go out and they just get another talented football player. Up next, we have another team that made the playoffs. And that's kind of, the gist of the bottom of the first round. But it's number 25. It's the New York Giants. And I figured, let's go out and get a receiver. There's not many on the board. And I want a guy, a lot of the guys that are left are pure slots. And this team, the Giants, have committed that they're going to run pretty much only slot receivers because they're going to sign 18 of them. So I went out and I got a guy one of the only guys left who has at least some inside-outside versatility, somebody who, if he hits his ceiling, could be a number 1 receiver in this league. He's explosive. Go and get Daniel Jones, somebody who he can throw the ball to down the field. If you want to, make Daniel Jones the franchise like you paid him to be, you got to go out and you got to go get weapons. I'm taking Zay Flowers.
Listen, Saquon's mad. We have Darren Waller. We signed Jamison Crowder, apparently. I don't know what's going on, man.
Paris Campbell, I think, is somewhere in there too, right?
Hey, let's not hate on Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell can actually do something still. I thought Jamison Crowder was 42 years old and coaching high school football. I did not know that man was still in the league.
He's not Adam Gase. That is –
he's probably would be a better coach than Adam Gase. Sterling Shepard's back, but I'm pretty sure he's just going to be like a wide receiver coach who's getting paid to be a player.
So he's Udonis Haslem. Okay.
But, actually good still. I think he could still contribute. Udonis Haslem hasn't been good since 2013, but we're going to move right along to my pick. Jerry Jones loves Showtime players. He loves to be flashy. This guy is a Notre Dame guy. Check. He's a tight end who's, drawn comparisons to Gronk. Check. Michael Mayer, you are a Dallas Cowboy. It makes sense. It feels like a Jerry Jones pick. I don't know if he's going to be hands-off or hands-on now, but I like it because I think he's a good football player, and it also makes sense because Jerry Jones. So
you lost Dalton Schultz. You got to go out and replace him. You get somebody who can be, if those Gronk comparisons are true, you go out and you get a really good football player. Moving on to number 27. This one's simple for me. You're the Buffalo Bills. Where do you play? Buffalo, New York. You're in December and January. You cannot be throwing the ball on 3rd and 1. You cannot be throwing the ball on 2nd and 2 when you need to go get a first down. You can't be throwing the ball in these late game situations when you should be salting it away with the run game. So I'm going to go out and we're going to maul up front. I'm getting Osiris Torrance out of Florida. It's simple. Just be a physical football team. That's what a Buffalo team is meant to be. Those teams that had Jim Kelly, even though they were throwing the ball a lot, were not throwing the ball when they were up in the 4th quarter. They were salting games away with Thurman Thomas. So please go out if you're Buffalo and address that offensive line and start pounding the rock like you're meant to do in upstate New York.
Tyler said, "Hey, we're Buffalo. We play in the cold. I'm gonna draft an O lineman from Florida." Yeah.
We got to go out. You had to go out and you had to go get an interior offensive lineman.
Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. I was just, it's just a little funny.
Maybe it's a little sabotage from the Dolphins fan part of me. You never know.
Okay. It's
4D chess.
It's creeping in there a little bit.
Yes.
I am going to stay on the offensive line. Listen, we don't know what's going on with Lyle Collins. We don't know what's going on with Jonah Williams.
At least one of them is gone. At least one of them. Maybe both.
If Lyle Collins is gone, Jonah can play guard. I know he can play guard.
Even though he doesn't want to.
He wants nothing to do with it. Don't care what he wants. I'm not the real GM. I don't have to deal with his emotions. Give me Darnell Wright. I have bookend tackles now. You're welcome, Joe. You can stand for more than a second and a half. You're welcome.
Joe Burrow finally is going to have time. He's made through
no more memes. No more memes of him getting his head taken off.
We're gonna have. It's gonna be Joe Burrow, Darnell Wright, Jamar Chase, and the pass will be completed. However, up next, we've got the New Orleans Saints, one of the teams on this list that did not make the playoffs late in this first round here, but they've got this pick that's bounced around like half the league. And now I want to go out and I want to go get a new defensive lineman. They lost multiple of them. I figured let's go out and get a guy who at his ceiling can be freakish and get after the quarterback. This team needs somebody who can rush the passer. Pass rushers are getting a little old. They lost, a couple guys on the interior and along the edge. I'm taking Kalijah Kancey. I think going out and getting an interior guy who can just get after it is going to be fun in New Orleans, especially because this team seems like they just want to, pass the ball with Derek Carr and go defend it and hopefully win 8 games.
Wow. Okay. That was a totally necessary shot taken at a team that you have no relation to.
Hey, you're right. But yeah,
I am always right. Moving on. We're going Eagles. I talked about the pick and replenish. Listen, Josh Sweat is going to have to be paid eventually, I believe, soon. Unless he just got paid. He might have just gotten paid. But
either way, you can never have enough edges. You need at least 3.
Never have enough edges. You need at least 3. Right now, Derek Barnett and what's his name? Taryn Jackson, whatever his name. No. Taryn Jackson. He's the backup on the other side. Brandon Graham's there. Brandon Graham is like a senior citizen. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a pick that because I like this player and I sat next to his grandpa on a flight. I'm picking Keon White. He's a dog. He likes to do art and real estate. What a guy. Keon White, you are a Philadelphia Eagle.
Well, now I know that Keon White's on the grind set, so that's good. He fits the city of Philadelphia. Go get yourself, a hardworking real estate agent. Moving on to the last pick. You said he likes to do real estate. I thought it was go out and get a guy who can rush the passer and do real estate. Why not? Moving on. Last pick. I got weird with it too. I took a guy who, the Chiefs already have maybe the greatest tight end of all time. But I said, the last time the Chiefs won a Super Bowl, the last time they won a Super Bowl, they made a luxury pick. And that time it didn't work. It was Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
It did not work at all.
He's getting outrun by Jerick McKinnon and Isaiah Pacheco. That ain't working. But this time I've got the luxury pick that's going to work. I'm taking another tight end. We're going to run crazy 2 tight end sets. We're going to be Georgia 2.0. And instead of Brock Bowers, we've got Travis Kelce. But we still have Darnell Washington. You are a Kansas City Chief. Just go out and get Mahomes another weapon and somebody who will maul in the run game. I think it's a fun pick. Are they really going to do it here? Probably not.
No. Will Darnell even be there?
Which team, what fan base, anybody in the Chiefs fan base, who doesn't want to see that at least a little bit? I figured let's go out and be box office.
You can line up with Darnell on the line and then a stack with Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney and Travis Kelce and just send Darnell on a streak and everyone else can just follow behind him and split off and it would be so fun to watch. There's nothing you can do about that. And that is how we end our mock draft because there was only 31 picks because the Dolphins What happened, Tyler? You tampered. So that is going to be it for the Weeball podcast. I'm Luke Krumich. That's Tyler DeSena on that side, not him. That's my roommate. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Leave a rating. 5 stars is preferred. Not 5 stars. Say it with your chest. It's all right. We don't mind. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope you have a great day.
Have fun and don't tamper.